Hey everybody, my name is Drew Schilthelm. Today I'm going to do a game narrative review. Just a little bit about myself. I'm a junior at George Mason University studying applied computer science with a concentration in computer game design. The game I'm going to be reviewing today is Tales of Symphonia for the Nintendo GameCube. This game was released in 2004 by Namco Tales Studio and is a fantasy RPG. Story was written by Kosuke Fujishima. The story begins in the continent of Silverant. Silverant is dying due to the decaying amount of mana, the source of all life and magic. Our protagonist, Lloyd Irving, and his childhood friend Colette, along with a few other allies, embark on an age-old tradition to regenerate the world by awakening 5 spirits. At the end of their journey, the party learns the ugly truth behind this ritual, that the angels who sent them on this quest are actually members of an evil organization called Crucius, and that Silverant is actually one of 2 worlds that were originally separated by this evil cult. They discover that these 2 worlds are forced to vie for mana, and so their mission becomes to reunite them and bring a balance of mana to both. After many twists and turns, the party is able to defeat Crucius and accomplish their mission by growing a giant mana tree. First, I'll touch on some key characters. Lloyd Irving is the headstrong protagonist of the story. Lloyd is a simple-minded man, too ignorant to become part of evil or prejudice. Lloyd's sole motivation is always to protect his friends and to seek vengeance for his murdered mother. Colette is Lloyd's childhood friend. Colette is the chosen and grows up believing that she is to one day become an angel and complete the tradition to regenerate the world. She is a painfully shy and timid girl and is selfless almost to a fault. Kratos is a battle-hardened mercenary who acts as a sort of mentor to Lloyd throughout their journey. Kratos eventually double-crosses him, revealing that he is actually a member of Crucius. Kratos acts as a guiding force for Lloyd even after he has betrayed and left the party. Time to take a closer look at the story. One of the things that separates this game from others in its genre is the constant real-time control that the player has over his character. This reinforces the bond the player feels with the character by having him learn new button combos and customizable power moves. The voice acting in the game is really quite good. However, only about half the dialogue in the game actually has recorded audio to go with it. The rest is completely silent and forces a distinction in the player's mind about which scenes are important, which can cause some players to skip sometimes very important bits of dialogue. One thing that works well is how the game keeps track of which characters the player likes the most based on choices he makes. This then determines which characters will be put in greater danger or even kidnapped. This ensures that the player will actually have an emotional response to certain dramatic elements in the story. The strongest element of the story is definitely character development. Every key character enters the story in a meaningful way. They have a purpose in the plot and also some sort of relationship to the main character. The characters grow emotionally as the story progresses in a way that feels natural and not forced. Also, when the player is navigating the world, a sometimes tedious task, the characters will often have small conversations with each other in the background. These can range from confessions about their past to simply sarcastic banter. This makes the characters feel more human to the player while also making good use of idle time in the game. The weakest element for me was the ending. To start off, the climax and conclusion of the whole thing was told through a cartoon cutscene in the style of Japanese anime, unlike anything the player has seen thus far. This sudden shift in appearance of the world and all the characters is so jarring it completely ruins the immersion of the player. Another issue is that it abandons the themes it established throughout the story. All through the narrative, there persisted a theme of the world being an unfair place and that victory always comes with a cost. The ending abandoned these themes in favor of a tidy fairy tale ending, which leaves the player pretty unsatisfied. The highlight of the story is the big plot twist, when Kratos betrays the party and you learn of the secret behind the ritual of the Chosen and the existence of another world. This is a great twist because the player really feels like he has reached the end of the game when the story is completely turned on its head, in a good way. Critic reception to this game was generally positive. Most critics really enjoyed all the great characters and the innovative combat system. Some, such as IGN, were a little underwhelmed by the plot, as well as the translation from the original Japanese script, but they were willing to forgive these due to the characters and gameplay. What are some lessons that we can take away from all this? Having creative and emotionally engaging characters can create a memorable experience, bringing the story to great heights, and can also draw attention away from plot holes that would otherwise be an obvious blemish on the narrative. 2. It can be worth going the extra mile to record audio for all the dialogue in the game, so that there is no disconnect between the player and the story. We don't want players to feel encouraged to skip lengthy text conversations so they can resume playing the game, missing crucial plot-related dialogue. Tales of Symphonia is considered one of the best RPGs on the Nintendo GameCube. The game has a very unique story to tell and is a must-play for any RPG lover or anyone who appreciates a twist-filled story and a cast of wonderful characters. Thank you for watching, and I hope you get a chance to experience this game for yourself.